Hey guys, I'm back again. I have been using the Motorola Razr Plus 2023 for 5 days, and here are some pros and cons of this phone. First of all, I like the fact that it is both stylish and functionable. So anytime you take a phone in and out of your pocket, you can definitely get people's attention. And this year, Motorola got the new large front external display when you close your phone. Makes it a little bit easier for making phone calls, using some apps. For the most part, I don't really touch it. The thing that I use it most for is just for recording videos vlog style. It allows me to use the main front camera, and I can see a preview of myself as I'm speaking to the camera. Makes it a little bit easier to make eye contact because sometimes you forget and start wandering around. And for the internal of the screen, it is pretty bright and sharp. It is equipped with 165 Hz refresh rate. Makes the whole scrolling experience very smooth and responsive. I'm not a big refresh rate guy. Some people will notice it. For me, I'm not going to notice any drop in frame rates or anything like that. I don't know, paper is a nice spec to have, but it's not a big game changer for me. One new change that I do appreciate this year is it does have dust resistant. It is rated IP52, and usually the higher the first number is, the more resistant it is to dust. And the second number refers to the water resistant part of it. For Samsung's Foldable, they are rated IPX8, so the 8 just means it is more water resistant. So it's that Motorola focus on the first number, which is the dust portion. And I think it actually does make a really big deal when using folding phones in the past, such as the Galaxy Z Flip 4 and the Fold. It does get really dusty on the side, although these phones are super premium and expensive. It is not a very pleasant experience. I always complain about back of the phones being fingerprint magnets, where a lot of phones use glass design or even plastic. It is not a really nice look and feel. The problem with early foldable technology is all these screens, aside from that crease in the middle, it does pick up a lot of dust. And this year, Motorola takes a pretty big step forward, and I don't think they really get recognized enough just in terms of even reducing the dust on the screen. However, on the other hand, even though it is dust resistant, I noticed that the watermark does kind of stick on the screen though. If you're just brushing your teeth or have water splattering on it, it kind of lingers around, so still looks a little bit messy. It's not a fingerprint magnet or dust magnet. Unfortunately, it does still pick up droplets of water. And the phone itself, I mean, using it with two hands is fine. Holding it with one hand feels pretty comfortable. I just wish it was just a smidge smaller. Just using the phone with one hand, it is pretty wide. So typing using the whole keyboard can be challenging to reach all the way to the other side. So if it's just a tad smaller, I think it would be a little bit easier for one-handed typing. Because although the phone is pretty cool, it flips in and out, but sometimes when you're using it with one hand, it already takes a lot of effort to dig into the phone and flip the phone out. And then you have to worry about how to lock your phone. And once you stop typing, little things like that does take a lot of time and effort. After the initial cool factors start to wear down, you have to worry about how to use this phone on a day-to-day basis and adjust to it. And just typing with one hand is not very easy due to the fact that I feel that it is slightly longer. I still have my Galaxy S20 that I use to record videos in general, and I think that width is a pretty good size. It's pretty thin and it's just like a few centimeters smaller, and that makes it much more comfortable to type with one hand. The Motorola cameras are not the best, but it is enough for me to record these videos. Most people may complain about the portrait mode and various different options. You don't really care about the camera. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. It can do the job. You're just taking casual photos, but once you start zooming in and looking for and have high demand for your cameras, this is definitely not the phone for you. And overall, the performance is really good. Despite being a 1-year-old chip, it is super fast and efficient. And I think the battery life is pretty decent as well. I wake up every morning around 6 or so, and then by the end of the day, 9 p.m. roughly, I still have at least 20% left. So considering all day long battery life, that gives me at least 15 hours a day, and that is more than enough for me. I don't mind charging my phone overnight and just using it throughout the day, and just going through a full day without having to think about charging your phone or scrambling to find the chargers. Definitely a breath of fresh air. Coming from the Google Pixel 7a, I find that I have to be connected to the charger all day long, especially around 2 or 3 p.m. That's when my phone completely died and I had to worry about charging it. So with the Moto Razr Plus, if I use the phone a lot, heavy camera users, I can kill it within 9 hours, but I just use it normally, have it in my pocket, taking it out, just checking snap here and there, not recording long long videos, it can easily last me to the end of the day. I think driving around 20 minutes or so, I just plug it in briefly with GPS on, music on. That's enough to give it that extra boost to bring me to the end of the day. Very impressed with the battery life so far for a small form factor. Software in general is pretty clean and intuitive to use as well, so no complaints there. Snapchat does freeze on me occasionally, but this did happen to me on the Google Pixel 7a, so it might not be a Motorola specific issue, probably more of a Snapchat issue. Occasionally when I would send a snap, the whole app would just completely freeze. I already took the picture, but it just wouldn't let me select the contacts who to send it to. The whole app just wouldn't move, but wouldn't let me go back. So my only option is to restart the app. And once I do that and launch it up again, luckily it still holds the picture that I last took. But little things like that, it's kind of weird. And I guess iPhone in general, the apps are more optimized. You don't really see a lot of weird bugs and things like that. Fortunately, on the Android side, you do see little hiccups here and there. Not to say that Apple don't have any bugs themselves, but just in general, the apps are more optimized. The Razr Plus, I don't really like the default ringtone that it comes in. It has like a doorbell sounding tone. So I just went in to change that. I do have smart doorbells around the house. Every time I get a notification, it sounds like somebody's ringing a doorbell, but it's just my notification sound. So no biggie, I just changed that. And I don't really do like the front preview camera when I'm recording videos. I wish it does have a timer in front so that I know it is actually recording. I do have some trust issues. Sometimes I'm talking for 5 to 10 minutes and then I realize I need to turn my phone on to make sure it is actually recording. And I just wish that when it is docked into this preview mode that it does have some activate recording where there's like waving your palm or something like that. I know you can do that in the regular selfie mode. You can just put your palms up and then it'll start recording. We're taking a picture if you're using front selfie camera. But for some reason, if you use the main camera and you want to do that functionality is not available on that. So even though this preview screen is cool, I still have to press record on the other end, turn my phone around, and then I can just use it. So it's just some odd choices. I wish it does have more functionality when I'm using the preview screen. It's one thing to be able to frame yourself, but it would be nice to see if it is actually recording. And in addition to that, allows you to start the recording without having you to run over and touch the phone and then have to turn on the timer or something like that. So little things like that is slightly annoying, but for me, I'm just sitting at my desk, like I just turn it on, the recording, and then spin my phone around. Not a big of a deal, but I do wish it had some more features built in to activate the recording. And I recently found out that there is no always on display on this phone. For some reason, in the back of my mind, in the early days, Motorola had like one of those peak display, and then Samsung came out with the always on display shortly after. And I guess it's just a slight difference, but Samsung, the always on display is literally always on. And for Motorola, it's more of a battery saving measure. It detects whenever you're reaching for your phone, lifting it up, and then it'll show you the timer. I prefer the always on option, and I guess after digging in a setting for it and realized that they don't really have that feature, which was interesting to see. Luckily for Android phone, then it is pretty much an app for anything. If you want a specific features, just go into Play Store and look it up. I download this Movies app, which allows me to have always on display. And surprisingly, it doesn't really have a big hit on the battery. I began my day at 6 and it still lasts me to the end of the day. So I would definitely be keeping that around since I'm a huge fan of always on display. Overall, I'm really still enjoying the Moto Razr Plus 2023. It is a great phone for people who want something new and stylish, and also more features once the phone is folded up without having to open it up every single time you want to use it. The camera is not the best, but they are good enough for most people. Price is still on the higher side, but it is in line with what other foldable phones are charging today. Alright guys, this wraps up day 5 in the life of this phone. Let me know what your experience has been so far with the Moto Razr Plus, or just your general experiences or thoughts, and if there's anything else you guys want me to cover. Please check out day 4 if you haven't already. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.